Main battle tank. Here is a machine that can crush a pickup truck flat under its tracks, survive a direct hit that would destroy almost anything else, and still outrun traffic on the open road. The main battle tank is the undisputed king of the battlefield, and it has held that title for over 100 years. But here is the mystery. How does something weighing as much as 70 elephants move faster than city traffic? The secret is in the tracks. Instead of wheels, tanks use wide metal tracks that spread their enormous weight across the ground, stopping them from sinking into mud or soft terrain. This idea was first born in World War I, when the British military desperately needed something that could cross trenches and survive machine gun fire that was stopping every infantry advance cold. Modern legends like the American M1 Abrams and the German Leopard 2 can destroy a target from over 2 miles away, even while moving at full speed. The wild part is that many of these tanks fight just as effectively at midnight as they do at noon, using thermal cameras that turn complete darkness into daylight. On any battlefield in the world, this is the machine everything else is built around. Armored Personnel Carrier. Getting soldiers to a battlefield is just as dangerous as the fighting itself, and for most of military history, troops moved on foot or in open trucks with almost no protection at all. The Armored Personnel Carrier was built to change that completely. Think of it as a bulletproof taxi for soldiers. Its entire purpose is one thing only: move troops safely through hostile territory and deliver them ready to fight. The concept took shape during World War II, when commanders realized that infantry arriving exhausted and exposed was costing battles before they even started. Modern APCs like the American M113 and the Russian BTR series are built from thick steel or composite armor, protecting the soldiers inside from small arms fire, shell fragments, and roadside explosions. Most can carry between 8 and 13 fully equipped soldiers, sealed inside a protected hull, while the vehicle pushes through whatever the enemy throws at it. Some versions even float across rivers, using their hull as a boat. Infantry Fighting Vehicle. At first glance, it looks almost identical to an armored personnel carrier. So why does the military need both? The difference is enormous, and it changes everything about how ground forces fight. The Infantry Fighting Vehicle, or IFV, was designed to do something an APC never could. It does not just carry soldiers to the fight, it joins the fight alongside them. Built around a mounted cannon, anti-tank missiles, and heavy machine guns, the IFV can engage enemy vehicles, fortified positions, and even low-flying helicopters while troops are still inside. Germany pioneered the concept with the Marder in the 1970s, and the American Bradley followed shortly after, forcing military planners worldwide to completely rethink combined arms tactics. A crew typically operates the weapons while infantry soldiers sit protected in the rear, ready to dismount the moment the vehicle reaches its objective. The surprising part is that some modern IFVs carry anti-tank missiles powerful enough to threaten even heavily armored tanks. This is not just a transport vehicle with a gun bolted on. It is a full combat platform that happens to carry soldiers as well. Humvee. Before this vehicle existed, light military transport meant riding in something barely more protected than a pickup truck. The high-mobility, multi-purpose, wheeled vehicle, almost universally known as the Humvee, was designed in the early 1980s when the American military needed one vehicle capable of replacing dozens of different light transport types with a single, flexible platform. General won the contract and delivered something that genuinely changed how armies operate at the tactical level. 4 wide wheels, exceptional ground clearance, and a wide, stable stance let it cross terrain that would stop conventional vehicles completely. The Humvee can be configured as a troop carrier, an ambulance, a weapons platform, or a command vehicle, sometimes within hours of each other. Over 400,000 have been built and used by militaries across more than 50 countries. Its most famous appearance came during the Gulf War in 1991, where television footage of columns of Humvees crossing open desert made the vehicle instantly recognizable worldwide. Few military vehicles have ever achieved that kind of cultural recognition while still being genuinely useful on the ground. Self-Propelled Artillery. Traditional artillery cannons needed to be dragged into position by trucks, set up manually, and then moved again before the enemy could locate and return fire. That process took time, and time on a battlefield is exactly what gets people killed. The self-propelled artillery gun was built to eliminate that problem entirely. By mounting a massive cannon directly onto an armored tracked chassis, engineers created a weapon system that could fire, move, and fire again from an entirely different position before the enemy even finished calculating where the first shell came from. This concept became critical during World War II, and nations have been refining it ever since. The German PZH-2000 is considered one of the most capable versions ever built, capable of firing 3 shells in under 10 seconds and hitting targets nearly 30 miles away with extraordinary precision. Modern systems like this can calculate their own position using GPS, load and fire automatically, and drive themselves away in under a minute after shooting. The enemy hears the shell arrive long before they ever knew the gun was there. Mobile rocket launcher. If self-propelled artillery is terrifying, this machine operates on an entirely different level of destruction. The multiple launch rocket system, known as the MLRS, does not fire one shell at a time. It fires dozens of rockets within seconds, each one guided toward a separate target across a battlefield the size of a small city. The concept emerged during the Cold War, when NATO planners needed a way to overwhelm Soviet armored formations that outnumbered Western forces significantly. The American M270 MLRS entered service in 1983 and immediately gave ground commanders the ability to strike targets nearly 40 miles away with a volume of fire no conventional artillery battery could match. A single vehicle can saturate an area the size of several football fields in under a minute. Military transport truck. Every tank needs fuel. Every soldier needs food. Every weapon system needs ammunition. Without this vehicle, none of that moves anywhere. The military transport truck is not the most glamorous machine in any army's inventory, but it might be the most essential one. Armies have known since ancient times that wars are won or lost on logistics, and the transport truck is the foundation of every modern military supply chain. During World War II, the American GMCCCKW, nicknamed the Deuce and a Half, became one of the most important vehicles of the entire conflict, moving supplies across Europe in numbers that simply overwhelmed the enemy's ability to keep pace. Modern versions like the Oshkosh Hempt can carry payloads exceeding 10 tons across rough terrain, in extreme weather, and through environments that would destroy civilian trucks within hours. Some are armored against ambush. Others can be dropped into remote locations. Without a constant flow of these vehicles running day and night behind every front line, even the most powerful fighting force in the world runs out of everything it needs to fight within days. Amphibious Assault Vehicle. Crossing open water toward a defended beach while enemy fire comes from every direction is one of the most dangerous military operations ever conceived. The Amphibious Assault Vehicle was built specifically to make that mission survivable. It launches from a ship miles offshore, swims to the beach under its own power, and then climbs out of the water and immediately begins fighting on land without stopping. The United States Marine Corps pioneered this concept during World War II, and the lessons learned crossing Pacific Island beaches shaped every amphibious vehicle built since. The AAV-7, which entered service in 1972 and was used in conflicts from the Gulf War to Iraq, carries up to 25 Marines sealed inside an armored hull, while the vehicle swims at sea and charges across land. The psychological impact of watching armored vehicles emerge directly from the ocean and advance inland has shaped military planning in coastal nations worldwide. It is one of the few machines ever designed to fight effectively in two completely different environments, without stopping between them. Reconnaissance Vehicle. Before any army can fight effectively, it needs to know what it is fighting and exactly where. The reconnaissance vehicle exists for one reason: going first into places where nobody else has been yet, and coming back with information that saves lives. Speed and stealth matter far more here than armor or firepower. These machines are built to move fast, observe everything, and disappear before the enemy can respond. During World War II, light scout vehicles raced ahead of advancing columns to locate enemy positions, report back, and find routes that heavier vehicles could follow. Modern reconnaissance vehicles like the British Jackal and the American M1117 carry advanced sensor systems, radar equipment, and communications technology that can map an entire enemy position from a safe distance. Some versions operate without any crew at all, sending drone vehicles ahead while operators control them from miles away. The information a reconnaissance vehicle brings back can determine whether an entire operation succeeds or fails before the first shot is fired by anyone else. Combat Engineering Vehicle. Armies cannot fight across terrain they cannot cross. And the Combat Engineering Vehicle is the machine that makes crossing possible. Its purpose is removing every obstacle standing between a fighting force and its objective, whether that is a minefield, a collapsed bridge, a fortified wall, or a river with no crossing point. Combat engineers operate some of the most specialized and dangerous equipment in any military, often working directly under fire to clear paths that tanks and infantry will follow. The Armored Vehicle Launched Bridge, one of the most impressive engineering machines ever built, can unfold a full metal bridge from its own hull and place it across a gap in under 5 minutes, allowing an entire armored column to cross and continue advancing. Other variants carry massive dozer blades, mine-clearing rollers, and explosive line charges that detonate minefields safely from a distance. Anti-aircraft vehicle. Modern battlefields are just as dangerous from above as they are on the ground, and the anti-aircraft vehicle was built specifically to own the sky above advancing forces. Its entire purpose is denying enemy aircraft, helicopters, and missiles the ability to operate freely over friendly troops. During World War II, ground-based anti-aircraft guns shooting at enemy bombers showed how vulnerable even powerful aircraft were to weapons firing from below. That lesson evolved into the sophisticated mobile systems that exist today. The Russian Tunguska combines radar-guided cannons with surface-to-air missiles on a single tracked platform, capable of engaging targets moving faster than the speed of sound at ranges exceeding 3 miles. The German Mantis system can track and destroy incoming artillery shells and mortar rounds mid-flight. What makes these vehicles genuinely alarming to enemy pilots is that they are not fixed in one location. They move with the forces they protect, making the protected zone travel with the army rather than staying behind it. For any aircraft operating near one of these systems, the sky stops feeling safe very quickly. Mine-resistant vehicle. The roadside bomb became the defining weapon of modern asymmetric warfare, and it forced militaries to completely rethink how they protected soldiers traveling in vehicles. The mine-resistant ambush-protected vehicle, known as the MRAP, was the answer that changed everything. Unlike traditional armored vehicles designed to fight other military machines, the MRAP was engineered from the ground up around one specific threat, surviving an explosion directly beneath the vehicle. A V-shaped hull deflects blast energy outward and away from the passenger compartment, instead of letting it travel straight up through the floor into the soldiers inside. The American military surged production of MRAPs after combat data showed their survival rates dramatically exceeded those of older Humvees in blast situations. Over 27,000 were eventually produced and deployed. It is not the most powerful vehicle in any army's fleet, and it was never designed to be. It was designed to bring soldiers home alive, and the numbers prove it did exactly that.